Good morning, Year 3. It's Miss Sumner here, and I hope you had a lovely weekend. Now, today we're going to be doing a live lesson at 9:15. So hopefully you've watched that already, and now you're logging on to the maths lesson. If you weren't able to make it, that's absolutely fine. I'll go through a few things now. Your in focus today is how can we use an empty bottle and a 100ml beaker to measure the capacity of each of the following containers. So that's what I'm going to go through in the live session. We're going to have a 100ml beaker, empty bottles, and find out the capacity of each of the containers. Okay, that's the amount of liquid that can fit, or the volume that can fit inside the container. To do that, what I've shown you in the video already is that you need to measure out 100ml of coloured water into the beaker. It doesn't have to be coloured, it can just be normal, but it's easier to see the level of the water if it is coloured. So when it's right at the top of the 100ml bottle, you can then pour it into the empty bottle you're measuring, and you need to see how many of those bottles will fit into the empty bottle. So each time, step 3 is mark the water level in the bottle, keep marking the bottle, and then count 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. And if you're measuring the capacity of what would be a 1 litre bottle, you would need 10 100ml to fit in there. Okay, and in the video I will just go through the plastic bottle, a shampoo bottle, and a plastic cup. And if you are at home and you weren't able to watch the video, you could have a go at doing this yourself with an adult. Now, when we are measuring different containers, we'll have to read scales. Now, you've been doing measuring length, so you've been looking at different intervals. You've been measuring the weight of things, so you've been looking at scales on whether they're electric scales or manual scales. And we're going to do exactly the same for millilitres and litres. Now, sometimes it's easy because they have the numbers on all of them, so it's 100, 200, 300, 400, and we can see that that is nice and straight. When we are measuring, we need to make sure that we have it on a flat surface, or else the line might go like this, and we need to make sure we're at eye level, so our eyes are maybe here, so we can see really, really closely how much volume of water is in the container. This one, again, is nice and simple. The level of water is up to the 750. But if it was somewhere like here, that would make it harder because there's not a number next to it. So we'd have to do what we were doing with me in weight when we were measuring the mass to find out what each of those intervals, each of those lines mean. Okay, so we've got 500 here. Maybe it's hundreds, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Oh no, we need to reach 750. Maybe it's tens, 510, 520, 530, 540, 550. No. Pause your video now and have a little think. The correct answer is 50ml intervals. So 550, 600, 650, 700, 750, and we get there. So then we can use that to work out from 0 all the way up to this line. This one here, again, is tricky because it doesn't say the number, but we know that it is halfway between 400 and 600. So if 400 was here, and I've not done this for a while, and 600 was here, we want to know the halfway line. So I know that there's 200 in between these two numbers, so halfway would be 100 more, which is 500. Oh, not worth doing that. There we go. So this line here would be 500. And the only other one that you're going to be looking at is when it's litres. So there's 10 jumps up to 10. So we probably know that each one is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that this is 12 litres. And from last week, you will know that like grams and kilograms, there's 1,000 millilitres in a litre. Okay, so it was a really quick video today because a lot of what I was doing is going to be on the live session. But stop the video now and complete the questions. Now, the Maths No Problem questions today were so small and unfocused, I couldn't get them good enough to read the scales. So I've given you some white rose questions, but it's very similar to what we were doing with the Maths No Problem. If you do this nice and quickly, the extension is to make a list of bottles that we can find around the house and measure how much is in them, or just use what it says on them. So I've got a can of Coke here in front of me and it says 330 millilitres, and you might want to write some worded problems using these. So what is the volume of Coca-Cola and a shampoo bottle? Okay, have a really good session. Bye.